This is The Minimum Commitment, film theory in small doses. All is Lost begins with a letter. A man, alone on a boat in the Indian Ocean, writes to someone. He tells them he may not come home. What struck me wasn't the situation. It was the emotion behind it. The act of looking backward and taking stock of a life. I kept thinking about the people on the other end of those words. People we will never meet. The film gives us almost nothing about this man, yet within moments I felt like I understood him. What made him clear wasn't knowing his story. It was recognizing that moment of reflection. We've all done it. Measured where we ended up against where we thought we'd be. Thought about the things we got right. The things we got wrong. And the people we wish we had treated better. That's where All is Lost begins. I'm Don Lawler, film scholar, sound obsessive, and someone who believes some films aren't really about survival at all. Let's get into it. Written and directed by J.C. Chandor, All is Lost stars Robert Redford as a lone sailor stranded in the Indian Ocean after his vessel collides with a drifting shipping container. What follows is a relentless struggle against weather, equipment failure, exhaustion, and time itself. On the surface, the film appears to be a classic man versus nature story. But the longer I sat with the film, the less interested I became in survival. Instead, I found myself asking a very different question. Who is this man when everything he depends upon begins to disappear? Let's view this film through the lens of existentialism, because the film embodies it rather than talking about it. Existentialist thinkers argued that life rarely provides explanations for our suffering. The universe doesn't promise fairness. Nature doesn't care about our plans. Disaster doesn't arrive because we deserve it. Sometimes things simply happen. The challenge becomes deciding how we respond. And that's exactly what unfolds in All is Lost. The ocean doesn't hate this man. The storm isn't punishment. The sinking boat isn't fate. The film strips away every illusion of permanence and asks, what remains? One of the most surprising things about All is Lost is that, despite having only one visible actor, it may feature one of the largest unseen casts in this season. That opening letter creates people, a wife, children, friends, former lovers, people waiting somewhere beyond the horizon. The film never confirms any of them, yet many viewers will imagine them anyway. I certainly did. That letter becomes a doorway through which we construct an entire life. A life the film never shows us, which makes the story feel strangely universal. This sailor could be anyone. Most films establish character through biography. We learn occupations, relationships, dreams, personal histories. All is Lost does the opposite. The film removes identity markers one by one. We never learn his name. We never learn his profession. We never learn where he's from. What remains? The film asks us to discover who this man is by watching his actions when things fall apart. Not his words, but his choices. While watching the film, I couldn't shake the feeling that the boat represented more than just transportation. It feels like security and stability. The best laid plans. The future we imagine for ourselves. Then the ocean begins taking pieces away. It starts with a leak, then a storm, a broken mast, and a torn sail, a navigation system submerged in salt water. Every loss forces the sailor to adapt, to let go and continue forward. And that's where the film becomes larger than survival, because eventually every life encounters losses that cannot be prevented. The question becomes, who are we when the structures we depend upon begin to disappear? Another observation stayed with me long after the credits rolled. Sometimes you can see the storms coming, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop them. You prepare, you adapt, you do your best. But some forces exist beyond your control. The storm becomes more than weather. It becomes a symbol of aging, loss, mortality, and change. The realities every human being eventually encounters. This sailor isn't fighting the ocean. He's confronting the limits of control itself. At the beginning of the film, after struggling to repair his boat and get back on course, one scene stood out. The rainstorm. The sailor stands beneath the falling water and allows it to wash over him. It's a small moment, yet it feels enormous. For a brief moment, the world stops taking. After hours of loss and setbacks, something is given back. The scene feels less like survival and more like grace. Robert Redford is remarkable here, not because of grand speeches or emotional monologues, but because of restraint. He doesn't explain the character. He reveals him through action. Every repair, every decision, every setback, and every adaptation. This is pure visual storytelling. Like the films No One Will Save You and Locke before this one, the burden falls on performance rather than dialogue. Redford becomes the film's language, his body, his choices, his quiet persistence perpetuating the story where words cannot. That shift from dialogue to action sets the stage for the film's argument about meaning itself. The title claims that all is lost. The film spends 2 hours testing that claim. The boat is lost. The voyage is lost. The future he imagined may be lost. Yet, something remains. The will to continue and the ability to adapt. the dignity to face uncertainty without surrendering to it. Perhaps that's the film's final argument. We cannot escape mortality, but meaning is found in how we face it. That's your thought for the day. Minimum commitment, maximum meaning. See you next time. The Minimum Commitment is produced, recorded, and edited by Don Lawler. Music by Don Lawler.